Peloton once again finding new partnerships, way to bring their product to more people, while Lululemon seems to be stepping back from its mirror product.
Yes, Lululemon is stepping back from its mirror product, but keep in mind, it's less than 1% of sales. I think the partnership with Peloton adds something to each. For Lululemon, they get digital content that they don't have to provide themselves that now becomes a lower cost. It's a revenue share for Peloton given the app memberships, and they'll get a percentage of that fee. So with both communities having engaged fitness members, it's a win-win for each. And the co-branded apparel only is a benefit to Lulu given they wholesale the product to Peloton and they sell it in their stores and online.
Talk to us about, therefore, what the apparel part of it means for Peloton, because they were trying to make their own kit, and basically wasn't working out for them?
It didn't work. The apparel didn't work. It definitely requires inventory management. It requires design and talent. It requires an infrastructure in sourcing and manufacturing. Take that away with the awareness that Lulu has with their apparel, brand it with Peloton and Lululemon, you have a win-win for each. And at the same time, for Peloton, it helps to increase their presence. Keep in mind, Lulu has around 13 million members compared to Peloton, which doesn't have that sort of ilk. And as a result, you can basically grow the reach. I do not think that Lululemon is buying Peloton. I think this is an opportunity for Lululemon to continue to attract new members, and they don't have to bother with the digital content, of which Peloton has a ton, that consumers seem to value and like.
Dana, I still find the shares reaction weird, because at the end of this year, Lululemon discontinues the mirror. So basically what Peloton gets is access to an audience that exists now but won't grow in the future. Why is the stock up so much?
I think the reason why Peloton is up is because to be able to partner with Lululemon, a powerhouse in terms of fitness, a real differentiator in terms of their apparel assortment and the technicality and functionality. And keep in mind with apparel what Lulu is doing. You look at accessories, which grew 44% on top of 51% in the prior quarter. You're entering a wider universe with a quality partner that has a real solid balance sheet.
Does this signal anything to you about the value of Peloton's content? Like how good it is?
I think it does signal what the value is. They have great instructors, and some of those instructors are going to become Lulu brand ambassadors, and they have a constantly changing product suite and basically content suite that is going to continue the appeal to Lulu members of their app. So I think it's a win-win for each, and I think the transition to the Peloton app for Lulu members will only expand the platform for each of them.
How far can Barry McCarthy take this? How many more deals, how many interlinking and interwoven partnerships can he bring to the table to really sort of inspire this pop in the shares?
A lot, and I think he needs a lot. I mean, yes, obviously the stock is up today, but it's still a long way off from where it had been. And you're really transitioning into a new normal in this post-pandemic world. So the way for their content to prove value added to a wider audience, I think is what he's looking to do, and looking for these partnerships to increase the value of what Peloton is today and what it could be in the future.
I mean, 500 million is what I think Lululemon spent on Mirror. And they basically, like, wiped it out.
They wrote it off. It's better to try and fail fast rather than keep it going and not continue investing. We know where their growth is coming. It's coming from international, it's coming from enhanced product, and now an increased member base, too.
That is organic growth. What about inorganic growth? You know, you said that you don't think Lululemon's going to buy Peloton, but it's always part of the conversation, someone buying Peloton. Do you see that happening anywhere?
It'll depend on these partnerships. Who do they partner with? What does it add to the value of the company that they're partnering with? That'll be the key. And what can Barry McCarthy do in order to create a data company and a content company rather than a product company? The data has more value than the product, and they still have product that they need to move.
I'm glad you went there. I think it's time we ask you, Dana, give us your Barry McCarthy scorecard. What do you think of the job that he's done?
I mean, he's improving the business by being able to partner with Lululemon. I don't think any of us would have seen a Lululemon partnership a year ago. So showcasing the value of what the content is and what the member base is, given the similarity and demographic to a Lulu, it's a win-win. It wouldn't have been here a year ago, and that's a proof point that's positive. You still need more on the board because free cash flow, break-even free cash flow, is definitely the quantitative scorecard that you have to measure in the future.
It's interesting. We all sort of reassessed Peloton and decided, look, this isn't a mass market product. This is a high-end product. It's got more of a niche. There's a tonal, there's a Peloton, there's, these more unique ways in which we sell. But now it feels as a content company, you're thinking it could be more of a mass product again.
It can be, because you look at some of the floor exercises that you have that you don't need product for. We know where Barry McCarthy comes from. We know what he's been doing. Look, he's on the board of Instacart also, so he knows what's needed to create value. Can he get from here to there in a fast enough time frame is what needs to be seen.
Is there a future for at-home workouts? And the reason I ask that is I'm an Equinox member, right? They have an agreement with SoulCycle on the content side. So you can either go to a human-led class or you go to the gym and you use a library of classes. Peloton's not quite gone there yet. Do you think they will?
It's something certainly they'll examine over time. I don't think there's anything that they're not looking at in order to extract value. So it's a matter of time, just like what we've been seeing with some of these partnerships that Barry McCarthy is putting in place.